New reaction tonight. The majority Democrat House Oversight Committee now releasing details from a self-proclaimed whistleblower. A career White House staffer says she kept a list of more than 24 people who had their security clearances denied, and then those denials were overturned by the White House, allowing possibly disqualified people into highly secure roles. Oversight Chair Congressman Elijah Cummings spoke with our reporters just moments ago. Watch.
Now, the things that she has told us are shocking to the conscience. There were a number of people who should not have received a security clearance. She felt that this could not be resolved inside the White House. And she needed to come to she needed an independent type of situation.
Independent type of situation. Is that what this is? My next guest sits on the House Oversight Committee, the group looking into this. Joining me now is Tennessee Republican Congressman and Dr. Mark Green. Good to see you, Doctor. Thank you for coming in.
Good to see you, David. Thanks.
So what is the charge, and how could you consider Elijah Cummings? I'm sure he's a nice guy, but how could you consider him to be independent?
Yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous. The president broke no law. He hasn't leaked any classified information. All he did was override the decision, the recommendation of a clearance committee. I mean, you compare that to what Hillary Clinton did. I mean, she broke the law. She put classified information on an unsecure server open to our enemies. They weren't worried about it then. The real issue with these security clearances, I mean, they're just attacking the president. But the real issue with these security clearances, I mean, we have soldiers who are sitting a full year waiting for their security clearance to be done. They're in classified jobs. They can't be trained, so they just do KP duty for like a year. I mean, that's what the Oversight Committee should be looking into. And instead, we're going after the president again, chasing another rabbit. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. By the way, we should mention you're not only a medical doctor in real life, but you're also a West Point grad, so you know a lot about what goes on in the military. All right. What I think is going on here is very simple. They lost the Mueller investigation. They put all their chips in his corner, thinking that he was going to come up with collusion. He didn't. He said it didn't exist and no evidence for it. So they're moving on. But this is a pretty thin reed to develop a story that might lead to an impeachment, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And at some point, they're going to be investigating President Trump's, lemonade stand when he was 12 years old. I mean, they can't help themselves. This is all they know how to do. We got real problems, though. I asked Chairman Cummings, I said, can we look into active duty suicides? Army active duty suicides increased. And he promised me we'd do it. Chairman Cummings, why aren't we doing it? No, we're just going to go chase the president some more. I mean, this is ridiculous. Honestly, it's an opportunity cost. We are wasting this committee's time, and we're wasting the American public's dollar, and they are throwing the American public's trust, down the drain. I mean, yeah.
Well, I just want to ask about the hangover for Democrats of the Mueller investigation. Obviously, they're looking for something else. But, we shouldn't think that just because Mr. Mueller didn't find collusion, that's the end of the story. There are probably other members, if you will, of the deep state, and we know whereof I speak. We're talking about the people who were involved in the FBI and the DOJ trying to conspire to keep the president out of the White House. That's the deep state that exists, or that existed. A lot of those people have left, but I'm sure there are a lot of other people that are still in that have the same kind of desires about Trump. Are you looking forward, as somebody who has President Trump's back, to try to avoid any kind of implication or something that might happen in the future that would be like the charge of collusion?
David, there's two reasons why I want to see that report, and as much of the report as can legally be released, I want to see it for two reasons. One, I want to know how all of these the fake dossier led to this investigation in the first place, the FISA warrants, how our FBI used fake information to get warrants from a judge. I want to look into that. That's one very important piece that needs the information out there. And the other thing that nobody seems to be talking about, the Mueller report very clearly showed that Russia, a sovereign state, attacked the election process of the United States. Nobody's talking about that. Hey, we just got attacked, guys. Oh, okay, let's go look into, a few security clearance overrides from the president. How about we use this oversight committee and find out what Russia really did? How about we dig into that and let's refer
Congressman,
that?
It wasn't just the stuff that was going to the FISA court. It was the members of the FISA court that approved of a warrant to spy on Americans based on information, on data and sketchy information that was not as strong for spying on an American as you're supposed to have. So the deep state runs beyond just the DOJ and the FBI into the FISA court itself and Lord knows what other organs of the federal government.
Absolutely. We have to know exactly what the FISA court was told, and if they were told information that was either incorrect or information was left out. I mean, that's more important to me, than any of this other stuff. I mean, it's very clear that the collusion delusion is dead. Let's move on from that, and let's find out, about Russia's attack, and let's find out how all this got started with those FISA warrants in the first place.
But we were so close, Congressman, so close to having an election overturned, the desired result of an election overturned by a few people who didn't like one of the people running for president. That's a pretty scary thing to happen in America.
Yeah, it is very scary. And when, I think you talked about it earlier on your show with Kamala Harris talking about people needing therapy and all of this stuff. The only thing that this Mueller report has induced it's second to the president winning. I mean, they're out there chasing these therapists because the Mueller report didn't give them what they wanted, and that only is second to his victory. They can't accept that he won. They can't accept that Mueller couldn't find collusion. And when Attorney General Barr releases what he does release, he's not going to break the law. He's not going to release everything. There is going to be stuff in there that he can't let out, and they're just going to continue to push this narrative. It's 2020 for them. That's what it's about.